This is one of many quotes during 343 September update that rubbed players the wrong way.
We are a very competitive game. That's our DNA. That's who we are, right? You go back all the way to the very first Halo, right? Multiplayer. I mean, it is a highly competitive game. And so we want an experience where players can expect that the game is competitive and fair.
And at first, many people were confused as to why people were so upset by this. The reason why is that Halo is so much more than just a competitive game. It is story that brings us larger than life characters, a massive universe of locations and set pieces, and lore so deep that people have spent hours on end reading, learning, and talking about it, including myself. It is creativity, whether that be custom games that people came up with on just a drunk, silly night that would later on become official game modes in future Halo installments, or insane forge maps that people spend hours on end endlessly putting together, or even clips and screenshots of epic, funny, or memorable moments in theater modes that they would share to all their friends over Xbox Live. And speaking of which, it is multiplayer, the thing that got your friends over to the house on a Friday night for playing split screen co-op, something we may never experience ever again in a future Halo installment. It was the matches that people would play together and have some of the most classic and memorable moments on some of the most classic and memorable maps, or even brought you into Xbox Live for one of, if not most, people's first ever social online experience gaming together. Halo is all of these things. And that's why what I think Sean Barron said rubbed the Halo community the wrong way. Because since 2015, with the launch of HCS and Halo 5 Guardians, competitive in esports is all that 343 Industries and Microsoft have been focusing on and trying to push. Hell, Halo 5 Guardians didn't even launch with social playlists when the game came out. And that is what people are tired of. They're tired of it just being sweaty, competitive, and unfun experiences. Players are tired of missing the thing that brought them to Halo in the first place, and that was fun. Now, don't get me wrong. Halo has a very strong and rich competitive history. I mean, I remember being a young teenager sitting down and watching MLG Dallas 2006 on G4 TV before it was a giant SJW filled clusterfuck. I remember then going on from there and saying I wanted to do that. I wanted to go to tournaments like that. And myself, I went to some LAN tournaments and had a great time being competitive. I met some of my closest friends doing these tournaments and stuff. They were great, but that's the thing. Halo wasn't just a sweaty esports built game, because Bungie, when they made the game, their focus wasn't esports, it wasn't competitive matches, it was fun. And other companies like MLG took that fun, took the tools that Bungie made and turned it into that. The problem is that the company making Halo now is strictly focused on that. They are strictly focused on making a competitive game, to the point that is all they talk about a majority of the time is the HCS. They're wearing HCS gear all the time because they don't want other companies to run the tournaments. They want it for themselves because that's what makes them the money. There is a ton of money in esports. There is so much money to the point that Philip DeFranco had to make an entire video on one of his channels about this.
In 2010, according to esportsearnings.com, there were 964 esports tournaments and around $6.2 million in prize pool money up for grabs. The next year, when Twitch launches, the number of tournaments and prize money both nearly doubled, 1,644 tournaments and almost $10.5 million. And those numbers kept growing and growing, and by 2014, the number of tournaments had almost doubled again to 3,062, and the prize pool money had nearly quadrupled to $37 million. And not only did Twitch's beginning signal growth in the esports industry, it also continues to propel a lot of the esports industry to this day. For example, the January 2017 final of Counter-Strike's E-League carried about 228,000 total viewers on television. But on Twitch, the same event broke Twitch's record for concurrent viewers at that time with 1 million viewers.
And I guarantee you a lot of companies saw that and said, maybe we should get into this esports thing. Maybe we should lean into it because there is a lot of money to be made. And that is why they focus so heavily on competitive. Not because the players are passionate about, but because there's so much money to be had in the competitive scene through orgs and everything else. And that continues the frustration that a lot of players have with 343 Industries as a whole, because instead of listening to the broader Halo community and the players, whether casual or competitive, talking about this, it seems like all they want to focus on, the only people that they will actually open their ears to, are the pros. They will only make changes for the pros and what the pros want for their competitive experience and the betterment of the HCS, not for the betterment of the players or for the player experience for the casual fan, but the pro players that whine and bitch and complain on Twitter. That's who they're focusing on. And that's why I think the Halo community is so tired of hearing the word competitive or esports or HCS. That's why when Sean Barron said this, he got so much flack for it. That's why when Sean Barron said this, people made entire videos goofing on it. It's the reason why people continue to say that 343 Industries is out of touch and tone deaf to what the Halo community truly wants. And now it sounds like we're not even going to get an actual response from 343. It seems like now they're happy with what they put out there, and this just causes more frustration throughout the Halo community, to the point that hashtag Fire343 Industries was trending on Twitter for multiple days. And I guess I will leave you with this, a quote from the founder of Stern Infinity, Max Hoberman, and former multiplayer online designer for Halos 2 and 3. Common characteristics of a LAN party: you're playing with people you know and like. There's a wide array of skill and experience. Communication is prevalent and boisterous. There's friendly competition, but like the stakes are low. Everyone is having fun. Halo was fantastic in this respect. Our explicit goal with Halo 2 multiplayer was to replicate this experience online. Our goal with Halo 3 multiplayer was to refine this and expand the types of online experiences you could have together. Does this mean that Halo has always been competitive? And to answer that question, no, it's not always been competitive. There's always been aspects of it that had competition. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, the first thing that came first with Bungie in that original 10 years of Halo was fun. Remember that. And I'll see you guys next time. GamerJlee signing out.